What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but not after I expose everything in this video. It's no secret that casinos can ruin people's lives, but the crazy part is most people don't even know how they do it. There's a good reason you wake up with a lot less money in your bank account. And although most people understand that gambling is addictive, the nefarious and predatory behavior of casinos is largely shrouded in mystery. So we're gonna peel back every ugly layer. Because addictive games are barely scratching the surface. Casinos try to manipulate you, but not everything takes place in some dark, shady room behind the scenes. In fact, a lot of what's messed up happens right in front of you. So in order to maximize profits, they really want to keep you there as long as possible. So naturally, the goal of a casino is to become an escape room you can never get out of. The moment you enter a casino, you are in full lab rat mode. As a result, exits are extremely hard to find. But on top of that, the repetition of flashing lights are there to disorient you and keep you extremely alert so you never want to leave. It's basically an adult daycare sleep deprivation chamber. The games in a casino are scattered in a certain arrangement. There's a reason they have so many games in such a close proximity. The goal is to drag you deeper so that you go exploring. Meanwhile, the deeper you go, the more likely you are to get distracted before you find an exit. But grocery stores also use this disorienting layout strategy. So if you ever walk out with more than you originally intended, this is the reason why. These places were never designed to be helpful. And the same applies to department stores. If you ever hear an annoying ass jingle, or the worst elevator music that sounds like you're torturing prisoners of war, you know this is a tactic to keep people in the stores longer. Casinos rely heavily on the sunken cost fallacy. People have this inherent belief that if they put more time into something, they'll get more out of it. But that's really not how probability and math work. And as a result, casinos end up most of the time being a tax on poor people who don't know any better. People still spend a lot trying to justify the time they already spent. Still, it gets much worse. You know when you're sleepwalking, or really drunk, or some dude with dementia just aimlessly walking around? Well, that's how casinos want you at all times. And they'll do whatever it takes to drug you, both metaphorically and literally. There are no clocks in a casino, and you will never find one, so you might be up past your bedtime. And if you thought you could just look outside, you were never gonna find a window that lets in natural light. Basically, you're in this weird purgatory. I know this from personal experience. Me and some friends went to Vegas, and we had no idea what time it was. We told each other we'd be back in the room by like 1, and it was 3:30 in the morning. Because you're so alert and hypnotized, yet simultaneously always distracted and disoriented. It's a very strange juxtaposition. Now let's talk about those ugly ass carpets. What is the point of them? Well, no joke, they're so ugly that they're designed to bring your attention back to the games. But that isn't their only purpose. No, these ugly carpets are deliberately designed to send subliminal messages. The imagery is always some hideous flower or something in nature. The main purpose for this imagery is to keep you calm, relaxed, comfortable. The carpeted interior could remind you of a home. And this idea is only further reinforced by the narrow corridors. But the imagery serves a purpose. The designs are supposed to evoke a feeling of luck. They exist to encourage participants to live in the moment. Once you let your guard down, you're ready to spend. That's why the bartenders try to force feed you drinks every 5 seconds. And these drinks are always free, giving you a false sense of security that you have more money to spend. Even if you win money, casinos will try to take it. And one of the ways they do this is through the vouchers. When you go to withdraw your prize earnings, the machine spits out an ambiguous piece of paper. You then exchange this piece of paper for your actual cash. And this annoying process is by design. In no way did the casino try to make this piece of paper look special. It doesn't even look like Monopoly money. This piece of paper is so forgettable. And as a result, many people lose this boring voucher. Because you're usually drunk out of your mind, and no one is thinking of a random receipt. This is the general philosophy behind gift cards. If you don't use the money on the card or the voucher, the company just gets to keep it. It goes without saying that the more you play, the more likely the house is to win. Casinos also manipulate the air temperature to keep people alert. There was this myth that they also pump oxygen, but this hasn't been substantiated. But they do pump different smells, because psychologically people associate different smells with feelings of comfort. Think of that one Ratatouille scene where the critic eats that family food from his childhood, and it transports him to a completely different time in his mind. Plus, casinos have to mask the odors of every smelly dude that comes in there. No way the janitors get paid enough. Anyways, one of the most addictive and damning parts of a casino is the almost missed concept. Gambling resorts trick your brain and convince you that you've almost won multiple times. This is best exemplified by the roll of a slot machine. In this slot machine example, it's pretty common for all the symbols to match except for one. What this does is trick your brain into thinking you were close to winning when you really weren't. And according to modern-day philosopher Joe Rogan, this psychological occurrence comes from evolution. But take it with a grain of salt, because you know it's Joe Rogan. Still, there is a lot of evidence to support the way that casinos weaponize human psychology. And our caveman brains are wired to keep rolling. There's a theory that our addiction to gambling comes as a survival instinct, where we take every opportunity to grab food. Except instead of food, in reality, these opportunities end up being lung cancer and crippling debt. Speaking of the worst things ever, casinos still pry on the vulnerable. Their marketing goes after old people and veterans. Casinos will literally send free transportation to your grandma to traffic her inside, which is so messed up on so many levels. If you're gonna gamble, know the risks. Try to have fun and hold on to your life savings. Be safe out there, hit that red button to give me that dopamine, and follow the madness.